Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back to Scatter Love Tarot with your girl coming at you with another pick a card reading. Today, I am bringing you a very special, intense, channeled message, and that's let me understand your horror story. This is going to be full of triggers, and this is going to be a very intense reading, and they want me to point that out right away. Let me close the window so we don't get blown away here. Let me open up the other one instead. And I'm just pointing that out. So for those of you that are triggered very easily, this may not be the reading for you, okay? And I will reiterate this during the reading. So first and foremost, I just want to say thank you so much to anyone and everyone that continues to support the channel and be a part of this journey. I'm so truly honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. And for those of you that are new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we are all sharing this human experience and that this is a safe space for you to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. Please remember that these are general readings, so take what resonates and leave what does not. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below. If you're interested in joining the memberships, there's a join button that you can click on it. It'll show you the 3 levels I have available as well as the options that are available for each level. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find all those links necessary below in the description box. You can email me for a personal reading and I'll get you more information. And you can also follow me on over to my podcast on Spotify at Scatter Love Radio. So with that being said, yeah, this was a very intense channel that came through to me. I was meditating. I've been getting a lot of channeled messages during my meditations this go around, and I actually am explaining that all further on my podcast, what's going on. There's an experiment that I'm actually going through right now that has been yielding intense results. And along with it, some very intense messages. And I was actually not going to do this reading. However, I knew that I had to. And then I shuffled the deck that I'm going to be using as our Cosmic Soul cards. And on the bottom it said, be fearless. And so I knew that there's a reason. Someone needs to know that they're understood. Like, this is for those of you that feel misunderstood on the journey, knowing that you're not alone. And you're not, right? But sometimes it's hard because we've been through so much. It feels like we are alone. And so I definitely feel like Source is coming through, reminding you that we hear you. We understand what you're going through. We're not leaving you alone on the journey. And we're here helping you get through this hard time, these hardships that you've been going through, and reminding you that you are still powerful. Okay? So I just want to reiterate, this is going to be triggering, and there's going to be a lot that comes up in this. However, I'm going to use channeled messages today. I haven't brought out my channeled messages bag in a while, and they wanted me to bring it out today, so I'm going to be using that on the readings as well, okay? Setup's a little bit different. I'm just trying different things and seeing what I like personally and what I feel is more eye-catching to me. And yeah, we're going to go from there. So let's hop into our prayer first and foremost, and then we'll get this reading underway. Oh, and the other thing is this is going to be a 2-part reading. I totally forgot to mention that. We're going to do a second part, which is how to heal from our horrors, right? Like the trauma and everything. I know I did a how to heal our broken heart, but this is actually going to go in line with this reading. So it is going to be a 2-part reading. Okay? And I'll make sure that I label that as such upon this. Okay? So my beloved sources, prayers for any and all who come onto this reading. I ask that you remind them that they are held and that they are loved and that they are not alone on this journey, and that even though the hardships that we go through are sometimes disheartening and discouraging and leave us wondering, is this journey worth it? Remind us that it is. I ask that you give us signs and synchronicities, not only today on this reading, as always, but in life in general. Give us signs and synchronicities that remind us that the journey and the path that we are taking is absolutely worth it. and that you are leading us to something that is amazing and heaven sent and beautiful and a grand blessing that we can embrace and look forward to, that you're helping us find our way back home to ourselves, and in doing so, that is the magic in itself, that when we embrace that, we get to experience the truth of our own inner soul and understanding how strong we really are and how incredible we really are and how amazing we really are and how resilient we are for having survived such difficulties, for having survived such hardships, for having survived life in itself, and that we can choose in this moment to live, and that is a powerful choice that we make, that brings us into a state of presence, that brings us into a state of letting our lives become something more than what it has been from the past. I ask that you remind us all of this and give us those signs that will help remind us in the moment that we need it most, that you're holding our hands and at many times carrying us through. As these words are spoken unto this space and unto my collective, so shall they be. Amen. Aho. Ase. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my beloved source. Thank you. So let me go ahead and get that up out of the way over here. And I feel like the camera keeps moving just a tad. Let me see if I can get it where I had it before. Okay, there we go. That should be good. Let me see if I can tighten this up just a bit. Yeah, this way. Sorry, I'm not trying to bounce you around. I'm just trying to make sure this is tight. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, that should be... I don't know. We'll get there. There we go. That's where I wanted it. That's good. Okay. We might be just a tad off, but I think that's a lot better than what it was. Okay. So let me give these a shuffle. I know I did shuffle before, but let me give these a couple more shuffles here for you. And we'll go ahead and get underway. And remembering that these are going to be channeled messages that come from Source. So what comes through is what comes through. Just be prepared is all I can say, because I already can feel the heaviness in this reading, but I'm actually extremely excited to do this for you. So Source, for pile number 1, what Cosmic Soul Oracle card will help me better understand pile number 1's horror story? Source, what will help me better understand pile number 1's horror story? Okay, thank you. For pile number 2, Source, what Cosmic Soul Oracle card will help me better understand pile number 2's horror story? Whoa. Okay, they want the bottom one. Thank you. For pile 3, Source, what Cosmic Soul Oracle card will help me better understand pile number 3's horror story? Pile number 3. For pile number 3, Source, what Cosmic Soul card will help us better understand pile number 3's horror story? Okay, thank you. All right, in the bottom of the deck, we have communication. So I feel like this is Source coming in and saying, like, this is absolutely a channeled message for me. The third eye, this is something that's been hearing clearly. I feel like partially this is for me just a reminder that it's okay to be bold. It's okay to be fearless. We all struggle with it. Like, even us as readers, we still struggle with being bold and doing things that are outside of our comfort zone. And this is something that I'm absolutely intrigued by, but it is absolutely outside of my comfort zone. So let me go ahead and make sure this is in frame. For pile number 1, we do have this beautiful piece of clear quartz for you to choose from. Okay. For pile number 2, we have this beautiful piece of lapis lazuli. In pile number 3, we do have this beautiful shard of amethyst for you to choose from. pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. And whichever one you're drawn to, that should be the pile for you. And with that being said, I will see you over on your chosen pile. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this beautiful piece of clear quartz, or if you were drawn to this oracle card during the shuffle, then this is going to be a reading on, let me describe your horror story, okay? First and foremost, this is a triggering reading, and I just want to get that out the bat. I'm going to say it a couple times on the reading, so be prepared. All right? I want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to support the channel and be a part of this ever-growing tribe. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. Thank you so much for being here. For those of you that are new, welcome. This is that reminder that we are all here sharing this human experience, and that this is a safe space for you to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. Keep in mind, these are general readings, so take what resonates and leave what does not. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find all those links below in the description box. You can email me for a personal reading. I'll get you further information from there. You can also follow me on over to my podcast on Spotify at Scatter Love Radio. And if you're interested in becoming a member, there's a join button down below. When you click on that, it'll show you the 3 levels I have available, as well as what comes with each level. Okay? So I do hope to see you there. If not, thank you for your continued support here. So let's go ahead and jump into the reading. Really quickly, if you did not catch the intro, I do suggest that you take a moment to go ahead and watch that. This is going to be a 2-part reading. First, I'm going to start with this reading in Let Me Understand Your Horror Story. And part 2 is going to be healing from your horror story, where it gets further in depth and tips and tricks from source coming through to help you deal with what trauma you've been through, okay? This is triggering, so if you do trigger easily and you're not ready to hear this, know that that's okay. You can always come back at a later date when you feel settled and ready to take on something that this is going to be very much in the shadow side of things, the shadow work that we're doing, okay? Awesome. Let's move into it. So source, for pile number 1, can you please tell me about their horror story? Can you give me a description? Let's start with getting a description on you, pile number 1. Can you give me a description on pile number 1 so that they know that this is their reading? Can you give me a description for pile number 1 so that they know that this is their reading source? What can you tell me about pile number 1 so they know this is their reading? Okay, so we've got the 4th house, we have Virgo energy, and we have Mercury, okay? So you may have Virgo highly aspect in your chart, Gemini or Cancer energy highly aspect in your chart, but it does look like first and foremost we're looking at you've come from a home that's not been stable, okay? And I know we said we're trying to find out more about you, and we are. I do feel like you're actually a very, very acute empath. You are very aware of people's struggles without them telling you, and you know how to communicate that to them in a very gentle and kind way. And you are someone who's very patient. Like, you have found it within your soul to be very patient, to be humble about hurtful things, to be understanding about hurtful things. And in that, you have this superpower where people will just come to you and tell you their traumas and their hardships and the things that they're suffering with. And they trust you right away. Like, they don't have an issue trusting you. And it's because you give off this very innocent, very beautiful energy where it's like, I feel like I can leave my issues with pile number 1. And remember, they're never yours to carry, but this is how they feel. They feel like they can leave their issues with you and know that they're still being taken care of. Like, you're going to hold their heart close, and you're not going to do anything to use that against them. You're not going to go out of your way to harm them, because it's not within your wheelhouse. You're just in this place of understanding what it's like to come from either the mother wound where you weren't nurtured, or where you came from a family where there was a lot of codependency and a lot of backlash for things that didn't go everyone's way. So if you don't do exactly what it is that I want you to do, then I'm going to treat you like this. But if you do exactly what I want you to do, then I'm going to love you, and that's going to make you feel better, and I'm going to feel better. But otherwise, there's a lot of suffering that's coming from the home life, right? Early childhood, your roots. This is a family home. But in turn, it has left you in this place, in this energy of where you're home. Wherever you go, you're home. And you can actually connect with people on a very deep soul level because of that. You have experienced and witnessed a lot of things that a lot of different people have experienced and witnessed, either all of those things that you have, or very like pieces, varying pieces of them, where they're like, finally someone understands me, someone gets me, someone can see through my own BS. And so I feel like you're able to help people with things. And oftentimes you were someone who, like, you're the person everyone goes to for advice. You're the person that everyone reaches out to because you're so modest and humble about your own background. You don't actually share a lot about yourself, but you found a way to help others find peace with the hurts and the pains that they've gone through. And I do feel like you're a transmuter, where you transmute a lot of that energy, where it's like, yeah, it's very heavy and you carry it. And I'm seeing, there used to be this little video on YouTube, and I don't know if it was a commercial or not, but it was just this little video that always stood out to me, where it's like they drew like a little stick figure, and it was like a bubble stick figure, and he goes out, or they go out, because there's really not a gender, but they go out and they talk to people, and you see the stick figure go from being a white to getting scribbles inside of it, and every time they interact with someone or something, they get more and more scribbles, and then by the end of the day, they're filled to the top with scribbles, and then they go home, and there's a little stick figure dog at home that's also filled to the top with scribbles, and then they hug each other, and then they become pure again, and they become cleansed. And so, especially with Virgo energy here, you may connect very, very, very deeply with animals, and they may be where your peace is. It's like you don't even mind getting these stories from everyone, but it's like still feeling alienated yourself, and like, well, they don't understand me even though I understand them. And you end up going home to your animals, and your animals are the ones that help you decompress from all the communications that you've received throughout the day, from all the information that you've gotten from others throughout the day, from all of this heaviness that has been placed on you just because you're so good at healing and transmuting that energy. And that's where you transmute it, is from the unconditional love of your pets. And that doesn't matter what kind of a pet it is. It's just that gift from source, this pet that just loves you just because you're you, because you're in its life, and you don't have to change. And that's what helps you transmute it, is coming into that space of feeling loved and accepted by this innocent animal. And for those of you that don't have animals, it could just be going home and being able to decompress and being able to be loved in the presence of source is what helps you transmute that. Or just being in the presence of yourself is what helps you transmute that, because you're able to, that's what I'm saying, like, you're a transmuter, like, you just change energy. You're constantly changing energy. Even though we don't see a great transformation here with this energy, the transformation comes from the conversation, from the Mercury energy, which we do see with both Virgo and with Mercury making an appearance here. The fourth house connecting to the heart. So there's like communicating the heart of the matter here. Okay, and again, as we get into this, if you skipped over the intro part on the video, or if you skipped over even the intro for your pile, I do want to throw out that these are going to be triggering readings, okay? And just keeping that in mind as you're moving forward. And we're going to get into it. We're going to see what comes out, okay? I'm not asking for, this isn't going to be super, super long, but it is going to be very detailed today, okay? So, Source, can you please help me understand pile number one's trauma, their horror story? Source, please help me understand pile number one's horror story. Please help me understand pile number one's horror story. Thank you. Please help me understand pile number one's horror story. Yeah. You've definitely had to become your own hero. Like, no one came to save you. For a long time, there was a lot of feeling trapped in the situation. Help me understand pile number one's horror story. Okay, they want that one first. That usually doesn't happen, but it was very clear. Okay. Help me understand pile number one's horror story. Thank you. Okay, and today we'll get one more. Help me understand pile number one's horror story, source. One more card. Okay, thank you. All right, on the bottom of the deck. Yeah, I'm not surprised. We have the Queen of Coins in the reverse. So you could have had an overbearing mother in your life. Someone who is just very manipulative and abusive verbally and mentally. Right now, it's not really physical, but we do have the Suit of Coins, so this could have been someone who is physically abusive, but this definitely does feel like someone who is verbally and mentally abusive to you. Like, again, that idea of you do as I say, not as I do. You do what I tell you to do, and when you do it, I'll love you for just a little bit, and then I will expect you to jump over hoops and rails to do what I want even more. And it was just very disheartening. This is something that left you in a very stuck state. Like, I don't want to upset this dynamic, right? But you are, look, we have the World peaking. This is something that you are clearing out from your energy through work, right? You are working through this, but we're not going to look into that right now, okay? But they did want to show you that they do see that you are working through it, but this is you feeling like under somebody's foot. This is you feeling like you have, at one point in time, maybe even from the time you were 6 and on, feeling like you were obligated to what this person wanted in your life. With the 4th house, it does look at the mother wound, but it could have been a Scorpio, could have been a Cancer, it could have been an Aquarius in your life, or someone with those zodiacs highly aspect in their chart. Yeah. Oh my gosh. We have the 3 of Swords in the reverse. We have the 9 of Swords in the upright. We have the 9 of Wands and the 9 of Swords. Interesting. Interesting that would happen. And the Judgment. Family issues. Yeah. Okay. Understanding your horror. No matter what you did, it wasn't enough. No matter what you did, it wasn't enough. You were always starting again. Always having to start over. With Virgo energy, we do have the need, the want to be a perfectionist in our lives, right? And so this could have created a lot of dissonance as you grew older, where it was like you're always striving to be perfect, but nothing ever turned out the way that you saw it in your mind. And never being happy with any of your projects, never being happy with anything in life, even and I'm going to go as far to say, like, for those of you that have kids, like, even not being happy with your kids, like wondering, how can I help them become the best versions of themselves? And it's always with good intent. This is not anything where you're coming from a malicious place. It's just that fear of perfectionism. So it's like when you go and they say dress in your Sunday's best, like, you got the Sunday's best and you spent good money on Sunday's best, but it's still not good enough because it doesn't look the same as what you have pictured in your mind. Like, even when you see it, when you buy it, you have this picture of how it's going to look when you go out. But no matter the fussing and the amount of time that you spend on that, it does not ever get to that ideal picture that you have. And this is something that's very uncomfortable for you because of this energy in your life, because of this overbearing mother energy. And again, this doesn't have to be a mother. This could be a water and earth sign as well. So it could even be a father, a grandparent, an auntie, a cousin, a sibling, right? But someone that's always forcing you to do better than you were. Like, what you did was not good enough. Like, if you were a straight A student, they wanted you to bring home higher grades. You could have 100% in the class and they're sitting there acting like you failed. Like, and if you forbid that you ever get a B, like if you ever got a B, then it was like there was hell to pay. And always feeling like no matter what I do, like, you could have dealt with a lot of sickness as a child. And this was something that gave you an inability to see the red flags in others because you were always working so hard to prove yourself and never feeling like you were enough. And there's this energy coming through with the Judgment in the reverse that's saying this is part of your horror story, because it feels uncomfortable when someone says that you're not good enough. And that's what it's saying. Like, the whole reason that there was this overbearing energy in your life is because they were afraid that they were going to be seen as something than other than what they were. And also, the Judgment card in the reverse does relate to child-parent relations, problems with child-parent relations, where there's too much noise and drama. Like, this is a parent or parents, okay? It can be both your parents who did not see you as your own individual, but saw you as an extension of themselves. And because they had so much issues with themselves and where they ended up in life, that they in turn poured that onto you, which always put you back. It's like maybe you had trouble speaking. Like, this is interesting. Wow, my foot just jumped off the ground, my left foot, and I just got a weird ping in my temple. Okay, so it's like in the journey, you could have actually struggled with speaking when you were a child. Like me, there's a lot of pressure that was put on you to be so perfect, right? And not even understanding what is perfect. Like, what does that even mean? It's like they're telling you have to be perfect, you have to be perfect, you have to be perfect. And there's like this disconnect even with you, like, well, what is that? And then they can't even explain it. So they're asking you to do something that they themselves can't even explain, and they themselves were not even able to uphold, but they were expecting that from you. And so there's this energy with the Three of Swords here that maybe when you were a child, when you were getting to around speaking age, that you may have had to go to tutoring for help with your speech, like speech therapy is what I'm hearing, because you couldn't articulate what it was that you wanted. And I know I said from 6 and on, but I feel like it got worse when you got older and you were able to understand what was actually happening. So it's like, you know, they wanted you to help clean the house, or like just say you clean your room, and you cleaned your room and it was clean, especially if you were 6, right? Like, just take it. It was a clean room, and they're going around with a white glove and dusting the corners and stuff. And if there's dust, they make you start all over again. They make you begin again, like where they could even go and be so harsh where they would throw your clothes back out on the floor. They would throw all your stuff back out in the middle of the floor. It's like, you have to start again, and this time don't miss anything. And like, if they happen to find another imperfection, which it seems like they always did, because they were looking for it, not looking at what you did right, but what could have potentially been missed. It's not even about what you did wrong, it's about what was missed. And they made such a big deal about what was missed that it created this huge anxious ball of energy inside of you, where now everything you do is like, you could be agoraphobic, you could have a ton of phobias, but I'm hearing like agoraphobic because you're always feeling like, I'm just not good enough, so why should I even go meet people? Like, why should I even go connect with people? Like a fear of leaving the house. There's this fear of cleanliness, this fear of germs, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it can border on this sense of actually running your life and creating a lot of upset in your life as well. But I do hear, like, for some of you, it's hard for you to articulate now. It's like, even though you're able to help others by communicating to them, when it comes to communicating things for yourself, there's an inability to do so here with these swords cards and in conjunction with Mercury, because of this pressure that was put on you from a small age. Like a small child, you were always upheld to these high standards that no one in your family was ever capable of meeting, but they expected you, a child who had no idea the workings of the world, to uphold this standard that made no sense to you, and you did your best. And I feel like, again, if you're an acute empath, which I did notice at the beginning, you're an acute empath, and so you feel everything so deeply. You were constantly feeling this disappointment, and so to be in a place where you can celebrate yourself, that's something that's very rare and very hard for you, if ever, because you have felt like a disappointment your whole life, feeling like nothing you ever do is good enough. So how can you ever be good enough? Because everyone that's been around you, the relations to your parents here, it's talking about, they put it on you that nothing you would ever do is good enough. You could have been born into a family that wasn't ready for you, did not want you, and again, I'm not trying to make this sound like a bad thing, but because you're meant to be here, okay? Like, no matter what, you're meant to be here. But you could have been born into a family that wasn't ready for you, that didn't want you. You were the wrong gender, you were the wrong sexual orientation, you were the wrong whatever. It was like they had a picture perfect idea of what you would be and how you would improve their image, okay? And your whole life you've been put to this test of improving their image, and you may have been cut off from your parents at one point, because if you had a rebellious phase, which I'm seeing here for some reason with the Nine of Wands, with the Nine of Swords, is like this rebellious phase where, like, maybe when you were a teenager you got kicked out. I'm hearing the age 16. I'm hearing at 18 you left because you had to. For some of you, you got emancipated at an early age, and it was like they were fine with that because they felt like you were too hard to handle, or they felt like you were in a place where you didn't uphold the standards that they expected you to uphold, and they were just ready to be done with it. But then what they didn't recognize or realize was the kickback that was going to come from that, in the fact that, okay, you emancipated your own child, like, because of why? And when people would ask the reason why, all they could say is that you were rebellious, and they would try to create stories that said, oh, well, pile one was, they smoked, they did drugs, they drank, and they did all this stuff. And then it's interesting is I feel like the people who were asking why were people who may have helped you when you were getting emancipated, or while you were out living on your own. And they're like, really? Because I've never seen pile one do that. And then it was like, they were like, well, and they didn't have a good answer. And they didn't recognize or realize the kickback of this happening, or you're leaving, even you're leaving. So that's what it's like. You left. There's this energy of you leaving, and they didn't recognize that that was going to have such an impact on their image that they were trying so desperately to protect through you. This is a family that has been trying to live vicariously through you for a long time, since you were born. They expected you to follow their plan. They expected you to go through with what they had set aside for you. They expected you, like, if they picked a school, they wanted you to go to that school. If they picked a degree, they wanted you to get that degree. Or even just like their idea, like, you have to get married when you're 18 and have kids and have a white picket fence, and you better marry into money, or you know what I mean? Like, it's like they had an idea for you. And so the pressure of that just put it on you that there's nothing that you would ever do that's good enough. And I feel like sometimes you don't even see the beauty that you give to others through transmuting this energy, this healing. It's actually something that you picked up along the way that has become natural to you because of your survival techniques. This is like your survival is to let all of that energy go, and it's not yours to hold on to. And you had to do that from an early age, even though you were always holding on that I'm not good enough. And so it feels like a very opposing energy here. It's like, well, how can I transmute energy if I don't feel good enough? But it's something that you picked up along the way as a psychic gift in forms of survival, so that you weren't just continually carrying energy, because you already had to go home and deal with a lot. And so it's like when you went out, it's like people understand you because they feel like you understand them, because you've had to go through not feeling good enough, but such a heavy version of not feeling like you're enough. And also dealing with people further on in your life where you hadn't caught that they were in this energy of trying to control how you lived your life. So I'm going to get some channeled messages for you, and then we'll move into the oracles for this and see what else comes out. I have not used this in a long time, so we're going to see what comes through, but this is a little bit loud. So once I get done getting the ones out, I'm going to put my hands into the frame like this. So if you have sensitive ears, go ahead and mute it now. Okay, Source, so can we please get some channeled messages for pile number 1 here in regards to understanding their horror story? Can we please get some messages and understanding there for us, Story? What would you like to come out here, Source? Okay. What other messages would you like to come out here? Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm back. Alright, so you got a whole grip of them here. Alright. Yeah, so I don't know what's going to come out, but we'll see what we've got here. So they said materialization, things materializing from nothing. Like, this is what I feel like. It's interesting because this is actually a manifestation technique. I actually talked about this on my podcast last week, but this is what they expected. They expected you to make something out of nothing, okay? And so that's why this is coming out here. And then we have here, okay, clairgustance. So you have clear tasting. You may notice you get, okay, there's also a mental, and I do not remember what it's called, but there's a mental blockage that derives from great trauma where you have a taste in your mouth for certain words. So like if you say a certain word, you might taste something. You might taste something sour. You might taste something sweet. You might be able to taste the mixture of them together. Wow, if I can talk. I just got my throat got all tight. And I feel like you've never told anybody about that, but it's like you may say a certain word and taste a certain food with that word. And so it's like you might have weird where you go through weird moments where you say new words and you're like, oh my gosh, like I don't like the taste of these. Like they taste like this or they taste like that. And I feel like that's also because you're tapping into, you have this ability, clear tasting. So if you were to connect with spirits on the other side, you would be able to tell people the favorite foods of their passed on loved ones. You would be able to give a clear indication of something based on taste. Memories are induced by tasting and smell as well. So we have Orion, logical and in tune with ancient wisdom. And I feel like this is a thing, like since you've been small, like you've always had this beautiful light about you. You could be tied to Orion. You could definitely connect with Orion, but I feel like that's the other reason why they expected you to fit into this bubble, because maybe even when you were a child, you were doing things that didn't make sense to them, okay? Automatic writing. You could be able to automatic write, or they're saying that automatic writing will help you. Are you going to focus, homie? There we go. Automatic writing will help you to find channeled messages to help you heal. So like I said, I haven't pulled this out in a while, so we'll see what all comes through. When I first saw you, I about fell about my chair. Yeah, so there's like this energy about you, and like, yes, this could be in regards to a love interest, but honestly, the thing here is like when they first met you in this physical realm, like you had an energy about you that they were not prepared to take on. Wisdom comes from life experience, so you've definitely had a lot of life experience, and I feel like that's why you're able to help transmute so many harsh energies from others. Okay, you've definitely had a lot of life experience. We have, yep, I'm not surprised. We've got light worker. You're a light worker, okay? Let go of control and enjoy the ride. And I feel like maybe you've tried to convince your family of this very thing. Like, stop trying to control everyone and just live your life. But I do feel like sometimes that you notice that that's something that you yourself are also trying to do, is hold on so tightly to something that's not yours to hold on to. And you really are trying to let go. See, and they're saying, yes, you can. Okay, yes, you can. We have love is patient, love is kind. And what we see here is not love. Like you have not really experienced that from a family standpoint, from your home roots. It was not really a love situation. This was a conditional based love where I'll only love you when or if. And then we have the third house, Gemini energy. We had Gemini. I had Gemini come through at the beginning. So we have the third house, Gemini, with Mercury energy here. So you could be a Gemini. This could be a Gemini that was doing this to you. You could have Mercury and Gemini and Virgo. You could have your third house in Gemini and it's home, right? And it's home. Or it's just showing you that this is something from early childhood learning. This is something you went through at a very, very, very young age. Do you see the yes, you can? It moved. It was the only one that moved. Interesting. So let's get some oracles out here and see what else comes through. Wow. The first card it flipped out was South Node, destined to release. Like they're telling you that this is something you're absolutely meant to let go of. Like this is not something that's going to be a part of your journey for forever. When you choose yourself, there's a powerful sense of healing here, okay? And if you're interested, we're going to do that. Healing from your horror story is going to be a second part here. We have House 10, structure, discipline, life mission, and accomplishments and careers, and opposition, imbalance, a point of tension, and a power struggle. So your path of purpose actually has come from, and it's deriving from, this hardships that you went through. You're actually going to find your reason, right? Your reason in life, like not just your reason why, but like your reason, like why you're here, right? More than just your reason why. It's like why you were created, like where you feel at home. Yeah, House 1, individuality, self-image, and your approach to life. Yeah, it's like you're going to find your reason. And it comes from, and as unfortunate as it is, it comes from the hardships that you went through. But to be a light worker means to go through a tremendous amount of opposition, right? A power struggle, imbalance, a point of tension. It means to go through a tremendous amount of opposition in order to embrace our destiny. Be kind to yourself. Be compassionate to yourself with fruit bat, flying fox. Okay? Let's see what else comes out here for you, pile 1. Okay, we have synergy and summer solstice. Yeah, you find balance when you let yourself shine. Okay, you find balance when you let yourself shine, right? We're taking away from this imbalance. You have to let your light shine. You have to let yourself be seen as you are. We have, look, Peregrine Falcon here with the third eye. And if you didn't see the intro, we got this card on the intro, which was communication, right? Again, the third eye energy coming through here, lighting up your third eye. You have a very strong third eye here. You have a very good psychic sense of things around you, but sometimes you may struggle to see that for yourself. You know, it's oftentimes easier for us to decipher and determine what's better for another person than it is for us to do so for ourselves, right? Look, number 11 with butterfly spirit, transformation is beautiful. So you are going through transformative energy. You bring a ton of transformation. This is something that was all preordained. And you might be wondering why, like, why did I have to go through this cruel situation? But it is something that you chose before you were born because you were capable of carrying the cross, the burden. And you're the only one, pile 1, that can transmute this energy into something that is conducive for the positive journey ahead of us, for the light journey ahead of us. You're taking something that's very dark and horrible and awful and turning it into something that is absolutely stunning and beautiful. And you know, it's difficult because it's like, whereas that sounds so nice, I just wish that it wasn't me that had to carry the burden. But no one else would have been able to carry it. You're the only one that has the capacity to carry it. Look, number 25. We have 25 coming out together. Elephant spirit, learn from the past. Okay, so not only are you bringing in this beautiful spiritual energy here, you're transforming the way that you see the world, but you're also learning some very valuable lessons from the past, which is bringing you freedom here with 33. So we do have 25. Let me see if I can put these next to each other here. Okay. So that number might mean something to you. You might be born on the 25th of the month. You might be born on the 11th. You could be born in July. Okay. Could be born in February. You could be born in November as well. Let's find out what the shadow aspect of your reading is, which, I mean, the whole reading is in the shadow aspect, but let's see if we can kind of hone in here. What is the shadow aspect for pile number 1, source? What would you like to share with us here? What is the shadow aspect for pile number 1? Thank you. Crumbling. What you've built feels like it's falling apart. It's okay. You have the strength to build anew. And that's what it's felt like your whole life. Like everything you've had has just been falling apart slowly. Nothing's been stable. I feel like you've grown up in this place of having a disconnected root chakra, for not feeling stable anywhere you go, or feeling like you belong. And also, through that, because your root chakra has been unstable, that all your other chakras have been very either overactive or underactive, and it goes either way. And having a balanced chakra system will help you find peace with where you're at in this moment. We have on the bottom, struggle. You feel like you aren't being supported. Exactly. That's been this whole reading. If it's not a team effort, it's best to stand alone. And I feel like that's something that's been so powerful that you're actually transforming here. You're realizing that they're not for me if they're against me, right? And they're not. Doesn't matter who it is. So we're going to read your card from the book. We have new chapter. Look, number 24 and 25. Okay. New chapter. Look at this. You're blasting out of here into space. Onto a new journey. You're about to leave this behind. But that's why it came in, right? Look, we're going to read this. This is so powerful. We have new chapter. You're being nudged to move forward. Take that next step. Take a new adventure awaits. It says inner change and transformation has been occurring within you. Your soul now yearns to take the next step. A leap of faith into the unknown. A new chapter waits with new opportunities and adventures. Your heart has been nudging you forward for some time now, but the cautious mind has kept you at bay. Don't let fears of the unknown hold you back in a place that offers no growth. More than anything, your soul longs to grow and evolve. Staying where you are does not give you room to soar to new heights or spiritual awareness and full consciousness. This part of the journey can be quite difficult, not only for you, but for those around you. Go through the process, honor your feelings and the feelings of those involved, but don't stay in this state of discontent. Honor this period, but move through it with courage, strength, and determination. Breathe deep. Release all fears and doubts and concern. Follow your heart. Listen to your intuition and guidance. And most of all, believe in yourself. Okay? Do not trouble yourself with the opinions and expectations of others. This is your life. You know what is truly best for you. Although you can't see it, your next chapter brings wondrous lessons for the growth that is needed for your soul. Be true to yourself always and trust that spirit will guide your way. Take some time out, reflect on nature's wisdom to guide you through this period. Rest assured that smooth roads are ahead. And your prayer is, Great Spirit, guide me through this transition and give me the courage to make choices that help my soul to grow. And this card is associated with the solar plexus and the heart chakra. So taking action based on what your heart wants is so important for you now. Remembering not to hold on to what's falling apart. You're destined to release this energy for good, but it is something that you went through that has created a lot of resistance and a lot of hardships in your life. And Source wants you to know that you are being seen, you are understood, and they're aware that what you experienced was very difficult and treacherous, but they're on your side and they love you so much, okay? If you feel like this is your reading, leave the little shooting star emoji down below and say, I allow myself to fly high into the me that I'm meant to be. Leave me a thumbs up down below. I'm going to go ahead and leave it there and get on out of here. I do want to take a quick second to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my guides for coming together to give us this message. And until next time, pile number 1, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this beautiful piece of lapis lazuli, or if you were drawn to this card during this shuffle, then this is going to be your reading story on Let Me Understand Your Horror Story. First thing, I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this channel. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and space with you. And for those of you that are new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience and that this is a safe space for you to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. please keep in mind these are general readings, so take what resonates, leave what does not, knowing that subscribing, commenting, and liking the video allows me to connect with you and get you out more resonant readings. Also, if you are interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find all those links necessary below in the description box. You can email me for a personal reading where I will get you out further information. You can also follow me on over to Spotify and my podcast at Scatterlove Radio. And memberships are now live, so if you're interested in joining, when you click the join button below, it will show you the levels I have available as well as what comes with each level. So I do hope to see you there, and if not, thank you for your continued support here. I am going to ask the dice for a description of you so that you know this is your reading or not. Firstly, though, I do want to point out that these are going to be triggering readings today. So if that's something that you have a hard time with, maybe this is not the reading for you today. But we are going to get into it, and we're going to see what comes through with the cards on what your horror story is. And this is like the trauma that you went through, what it is that you're carrying, describing what is a situation that you experienced. Okay, so with that being said, Source, can you please tell me more about pile number 2 so that they know this is their reading? What can you tell me about pile number 2 so that they know if this is their reading, Source? What can you tell me about pile number 2 so that they know if this is their reading? Okay, so we have the second house, Leo, and the North Node. Okay, so you're definitely working hard on your own journey, finding time and space for yourself, doing what's good for yourself. You found a new form of confidence in your life. You're feeling good about yourself, and you're stepping into that place that was always uncomfortable for you to reach towards. But you've learned that that's where the true journey leads us, right? Is reaching towards what's uncomfortable for us. And so you're very confident. You're a very fun-loving person. You're oftentimes the center of attention, not trying to be. You just kind of happen to gravitate towards people who want to hear from you or want to know more about you because you're so magnetic and loving and energetic and fun. And you may have Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries highly aspect in your chart. You could have a Leo North Node. You could also have second house in Leo, second house in Aquarius, I'm hearing, or second house in Cancer. I don't know why those are coming through, but we're just going to leave it at that. You could have a Leo Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus, Taurus Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus as well, okay? But this is, you have come into a state where you're feeling good about yourself. Overall, you're taking care of yourself. You're giving yourself self-love. You're really leaning into the journey of what it means to be compassionate and kind for yourself. And the more that you glow and grow, the more that people are attracted to you. It does seem like you are putting yourself first here, okay? You're very, 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 very much the popular one, right? The one who just gets a ton of attention, but it's not like bad attention. I don't feel like you're getting bad attention. I just feel like you're being seen for the amount of work that you've put in, or for the changes that are happening within, and for stepping into your path of purpose here. You're fulfilling your fate. It may be a slow process, it may be a long process, but you are fulfilling your fate. And we see the slow process here being hinted at by the second house. It's just taken time for you to get here. But you're beginning to feel really good about who you are and where you're going. And so this is actually really short intro on the dice, but they're being very clear here. Like, you just are in this place of really feeling good about yourself and having had let go of a lot from your past, which is very powerful. Especially on this journey, right? Like, a lot of people are not ready and willing to let go of the past. And when we are, we see that we have so many powerful things and tools and resources available to us. And that's what it feels like you're in right now. So let's go ahead and find out more about your horror story. And again, this is a triggering reading. So just want to continue to remind you that that's what this reading was all about. It was a channel from Source. But we're going to get further into it here and see if I can understand your horror story that you went through, get a picture of what that is, And then whatever else Source wants to point towards, this is just making you know, like, that understanding that Source is with you and Source does see what it is that you've gone through and that you've never walked alone, even if it has felt like it. So Source, help me understand pile number 2's horror story. What would you like to say here today? What was pile 2's horror story, Source? Thank you. What was pile 2's horror story? Okay, wow. What was pile 2's horror story? Okay. Source, what was pile number 2's horror story? What would you like to say here today? Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, what was pile number 2's horror story? Thank you, Source. One more card. What was pile number 2's horror story, Source? Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, and on the bottom of the deck, we have the Ten of Wands in the upright. Okay, and we have the Hermit and the Emperor. Yeah, you've definitely learned how to heal yourself. That's what I'm saying. Like, I kept getting this energy, like you're in this very powerful position. So we see here, like, you have overcome this. Like, you're looking into the past. You're recognizing that what has happened in the past has created you today, in this moment. And it feels like, even though it was difficult, it does feel like you've let go of the hardships and the hard feelings that you've had on it. And so you've gained a lot of wisdom here. Look at how old these two look, right? And age just represents deep wisdom. Like, you've been around the block, you've learned the lesson. And with the Ten of Wands here, it's interesting that it would come up in the upright. It's like, even you may have made amends with the hardships. Like, we'll see what the reading itself says, but this may have been you making amends with the people who did you wrong, and in a way, like, whether that's through forgiveness or even rebuilding relationships. You know, sometimes when we let go and we go and heal ourselves, we'll come back and we'll realize, like, where there were things not necessarily that we were messing up on, but that we were lacking, and we can re-heal energies, and we heal those energies that were between us. And we'll be able to make amends in relationships, whether that's parents. This could be a father relationship that you're healing. It's interesting. I have a weird pain right over my right eye right now. It's like being able to see the right way is what I'm hearing with that. Like, being able to see clearly, but the right way. And so it's like, when they're saying the right way, they're saying in a place of love. What's trying to peek from the bottom? Yeah. Love. Isn't that interesting? The Six of Cups just denotes love. Like, here, we're not talking about romantic love. It could be a romantic connection, though. But I feel like here it's just denoting love. Like, they're just, yeah, we're trying to show you it's love. Isn't it interesting that that's the one that would peek out when I was feeling that? You're seeing clearly. You're seeing the right way. Seeing in the correct way is with love, with eyes of unconditional love. Like, understanding that there's no hard feelings for what you went through on either side here, and like trying to let go of the disturbances of the past is what it feels like here. Okay, yeah, so we have the the Knight of Swords in the reverse, the Six of Swords in the reverse, the King of Cups in the reverse, and the Nine of Wands. Interesting, also in the reverse. Wow, I cannot get that. That is like so crazy. This gave you like severe migraines as a child. Yeah. Oh. So as soon as I said that, it just went away. Okay. Like severe, like light sensitive migraines, sound sensitive migraines. Like, these are things that, like, when someone could drop a pin in the room and it would sound like a thunderstorm was going on, and you just wanted to curl up and cry. And the trauma that you went through, someone who is completely emotionally detached from all of life, completely unavailable, not even aware that they had the emotional capacity. They just couldn't give you love. There was just no way they could. They didn't know how to. They themselves were coming from a very conceited place. And I feel like you were also sick a lot. You know, and the Nine of Wands can denote starting over. It can talk about being sick, having to deal with a lot of inner conflict and having that manifest in some sort of dis-ease in our body or sickness. And it's something that's been really hard for you, right? It's like you had to give up after so much conflict. It's almost like in your resignation, you actually surrendered to this, but this is something that was awful. It was like this person just never wanted to see you. Never. And it could be two people here, an older person and a younger person. So this could be a father, a mother, grandfather, an auntie and uncle, grandmother, and a brother, sister, cousin, friend. You know, but we see here it's like on one side you have someone who just is completely unable to love you and is harsh with you with their words, and then you see someone else on the other side who's so conceited. Like if you had a sibling that felt like they deserved everything, and then had the same person that, like, I keep hearing a father that doted on a sibling and not on you, like a father that was all about your brother or your sister and was like, oh, they're special, like they need this love, all my love goes to them, like I'm gonna give all my love to them. You see how they're like looking at you, but I feel like you're here in the middle in this Six of Swords. Like, I want to be seen in this dynamic, but I'm really just the glue that holds it together. It's almost like whoever this younger energy is would come to you and be like, oh, look at all the things that father gave me. And then, you know, your father would come to you and be like, oh, look at all the things that I gave to your sibling or your cousin or whatever it is, whoever this person is. Again, they're just showing me a father-son or like a father-daughter dynamic here, right? And so take it as it resonates. But it's like they would always come to you and talk to you about it. And so you would end up hearing about all the things that they did together. This could have been a grandfather. This could have been a grandmother. Like, I don't know. It's just someone who's much older and someone who's much younger. Okay? And yet you were the one that, like, if you didn't exist in their dynamic, then they wouldn't have anyone to gloat to. Like, this is like someone who's gloating. Like, oh, look at what I did. Oh, look at how I treated them. And look at what I didn't do for you. Like, how does that make you feel? And it was almost like they got pleasure out of seeing you suffer by not being seen or not being appreciated or not being loved or given time and energy to, or given anything to. So I feel like this person could have been someone who their love language was giving gifts, if they even had a love language, and that's what they would do for this other party involved in this connection. And so I feel like that's why you had to learn, why we have Leo energy in your dice reading is showing how you had to become independent of everyone. Like, you became very independent at a young age. You became very self-sufficient at a young age. You had to take care of yourself at a young age, because there's no asking anybody else to take care of you, because anytime something would go wrong with you or something was up with you, it was just reason for everyone to complain. Like, oh, now your sibling doesn't get more because I have to take care of you, and that's just a burden on me. And so it's like feeling like a huge burden here, feeling like I keep hearing I was the mistake. Why do I hear that? Like, do you really feel like you were the mistake? Like, you shouldn't have been born? Like, maybe they made you feel that way, like that you were a mistake, and that's not fair. That's not fair at all. Like, what you went through, that's not fair. And I understand, we see how you've healed, right? We even see how you maybe even reconciled here with a sibling, or with a father, with a parent, or with a mentor, or with a friend. But we see that it's like you're able to see why they were doing this. Like, maybe you learned more about your family dynamics beyond their connection. Maybe you had something that was even more tragic happen than this, and this is the one that Source wants to focus on here. But we do see there's two people who are using you as a bouncing post here. Like, oh, let me go and tell pile number 2 about this. Let me go and share this with pile number 2, because you know, they're not going to fight back, and they're not going to say anything, and they're not going to hope that things get better. They're not going to try to change things for the better, you know. And with the Six of Swords in the reverse, we talk about that resignation, and that's exactly what it feels like here. It's like, I've completely resigned to this situation. Like, there's nothing that I can do to change it. But it's like you resigned so that you could become more independent and taking care of yourself, and that shot you into this journey of finding your path of purpose. And through finding your path of purpose, you let go of the conflict that was there, and just like basically let it work itself out. And in letting it work out, you found such respect for yourself that it's either the boundaries you put in place or the deep respect that you found for yourself through the journey that actually put them in their place. Like, now they can't show up the way that they used to, because that dynamic is gone. That dynamic has ceased to exist, right? And it's like, I feel like you were always forced into the wrong direction here by these people. It's like telling you that what you wanted wasn't good, or what you wanted wasn't, you know, a real thing, or like, no, I know what's better for you. You don't understand what's better for you. I've been around longer, so I'm the only one who can possibly ever even know what's better for you. And that's such a silly thing to think, like people really believing that just because they've lived longer than us that they know what's best for us when they haven't lived our lives, right? But it's like, this was something that you had difficulty in overcoming. It was an emotional blow. And I feel like this caused a lot of pessimism in your life. And I feel like you may have had a very negative outlook on life, like nothing's ever going to get better. There's this energy of catastrophizing everything, like where it's like, oh, the worst of the worst of the worst is going to happen. Like when you had to get something done, like you just expected it to be the worst possible outcome, because you always saw everyone else winning and never got to win yourself. And excuse me. And that was something that you had to let go of. And it was something that caused a lot of hardships. And I feel like that's actually what helped you reconcile this connection, was you began to understand that that was never your energy in the first place. And, you know, anytime you have the Knight of Swords in the reverse, this is conceited energy. Someone who's extremely conceited, believes they're the best of the best, like believe they can do no wrong. Right? I'm God's gift to man, to woman, to the earth, to the world, whatever. And so both energies here were very much coming from that very conceited place. And I feel like the problem is that through that pessimism that they were putting onto you, it was like they were trying to keep you in a negative energy because they recognized that you had great potential from an early age. And it's like, if I make pile number 2 believe that they're not capable of anything great, then they'll never outshine me, and I won't have to feel bad about that. But it's almost like you, instead of outshining them, you found your own path. Because it's not about outshining them. It's about healing and finding love. And that's why I was saying, like, you found love. And now you're able to see them through eyes of love. Like, you see that this is, even if this is someone who's in their 90s, like, you see that they're coming from a wounded 6-year-old mind. Like, and even if this is someone who's the same age as you or just a little bit older, like, you're seeing the wounded self coming through, and how this older energy really influenced both of you in a very powerful way. And whereas they never gave you room to breathe and be yourself, like you had to fight to get out of that. Like you had to fight tooth and nail to get out of that. But that fight for yourself, for your energy, actually put you into a much greater position to receive what unconditional love is. And even if both of them are coming from an old place, an old energy like this, like even when you have to deal with them, because I do feel like you do have to deal with them at times, like you're still capable of coming from such a grounded place that there's nothing they can say to get on your nerves. Like there's nothing they can tell you that you haven't, you know, already worked through and healed through, because you at one point resigned. Like you, the Six of Swords, right? You give this resignation. You're like, I'm done. I quit this. I can't do this anymore. But through that and removing yourself from that, you actually healed. And I know we're talking about what is the horror, but really the horror here was them putting you in the middle of their little, why do I hear that song? Anything you can do, I can do better. Anything you can do, I can do better than you, right? Like, that's both of them. Both of these energies were like that. But it was all pointed towards you. You just were in the middle of it. Oh, anything pile 2 does, I can do better. Anything they do, I can do better. Anything. It doesn't matter. But then you realize that there's nothing that they're doing better, because they're not doing anything at all. And it almost like I keep seeing like this image of where it's like you go from being upfront into the problem to being taken so far outside of the issue that you see it from such a huge picture, and you realize after years and years and years and years and years have gone by, and maybe not for everyone it's been that long, but years and years and years could be 5 years. That's a long time for some people, right? For others it could be 20 years, but after years have gone by, you notice that neither one of them has changed at all. And it's almost like, instead of anger and resentment, it's almost like pity. Like, wow, like, I've changed, and I've found who I am, and I've learned who I am, and I wish well for everyone, and I want everyone to find their highest path of love, and I want everyone to find out who they are, and yet here you two are still bickering and plotting and planning and being your old energy and trying to, hurt people emotionally or hurt people through mind games, and I'm gone. What do you have left to do, right? And that's why it's like you may have reconciled, because you may have. And reconciliation, it can mean many things. Like, it can mean that you've reconnected with them, but it can also mean that you've reconciled from the pain of the past. And I feel like for many of you, that's the truth. But there are some here who have actually been able to create a relationship that's at arm's length in this situation, where it's like you're no longer emotionally attached to this, saying like, oh my gosh, it's me, I'm the problem. And that's not. You're recognizing, like, I was never the problem. I was just their dumping grounds. Like, I was the landfill, and they were the garbage trucks that had everlasting garbage that they were just spewing, like word vomit and all this stuff coming out. So I'm going to grab some messages from my channel messages bag. This is a bit loud, so if your ears are sensitive, definitely mute this. And then when I get all the messages out, I'll wave my hands in the screen like this. So go ahead and mute it now. Alright, Source, can we please get some channel messages out for this pile, for pile 2? What else would you like to say here about their horror stories, Source? What else would you like to say here? What else would you like to say? Okay, one more they said. Okay, wow, that was a lot. Oh, stay right there. Okay, I'm back. Alright, so let's see what we got going on here. You got quite a few. Pile 1 got quite a few too. So let's start with this one. Yeah, family matters. So they're just acknowledging that this is in the family. What happens in the family stays in the family. Unfortunately, you left fortunately you left the family, right? You carry a heavy burden. Let go and let Source. And I do feel like you've done this, pile 2, and for many of you, you've done this. You've resigned, and in that resignation, like, you actually learned how to surrender and just be like, oh, there's no changing it. Like, I might as well just do what's best for me. Okay, this could be a Pisces. You could be a Pisces. Okay, are you gonna focus? So we do have Pisces energy out, and Pisces is all about that guilt and that shame that you feel, and the King of Cups is connected to Pisces energy. We have Aquarius and Sagittarius, highly aspect, Virgo and Aries coming out. Yeah, okay, so we have a divine masculine. So this could have been absolutely a masculine energy doing this to you. You could be a divine masculine. I don't know why that's not focusing. So we have divine masculine. And, you know, it's hard because we're like, oh, divine man, how can they be divine if they're treating us like this? Well, we all have divine within us. We're all souls here experiencing this human experience. Some of us just learn the more important things faster and quicker and easier than others, okay? So we have the 9th house. Yeah, Sagittarius energy. Okay. So this is all part of your spiritual growth. Even though it was difficult, this is all part of your spiritual growth. But see, that's the thing for you, Pile 2. I don't feel like I'm sharing anything new with you. Like, you've actually come to terms with this. Like, it feels like you have accepted that this has been a part of your journey all along. And in that acceptance, like, you've even grown more. Sacral chakra. You've learned how to feel your emotions. Yeah, you've learned how to feel what it is that you need to feel so that you can heal. Generational curses. So you're letting go of generational curses. Like, you've actually just been demolishing them one after the other. And this is one of those generational curses. So the whole reason that this older individual even brought this into your life and into, whether this is a sibling or a cousin, someone around your same age, it feels like the only reason that that happened is because they themselves went through it. And so we know hurt people, and so they pass on those hurts to others, the same hurt. Only a fool thinks they know everything. And I feel like, again, that's that energy coming in where it's like they know what's better for your life. Wasn't I saying that earlier? It's like this is someone who thought that they knew best for you. They knew what was better for your life more than you did. And only a fool thinks they know everything. And I say that quite a bit. Flirt. Okay, so this could have been a weird situation in some cases. This could have been a friend. This could have even been a friend and their parent. And you were like the in-between for them. And so this is someone who's flirting with you. But I do feel like sources also pointing out that, like, you have this very flirtatious, gravitational energy about you. And don't hide that. That's something that's beautiful about you. Your ancestors are guiding you. Yes! With the generational curses coming out, they're helping you heal from these wounds. Like, this is something they're helping you to understand. They're helping, giving you the signs and synchronicities to help you accept what has happened that you cannot change and to step towards what you can change. When was the last time you laughed? Have you laughed recently? Laughter is healing, and laughter connects with the sacral chakra. And then we have clear salience. Wow, clear salience. Clear smelling. This one's a weird one. I have experienced this my whole life, clear salience. In fact, my mom had it too, and so did my grandma. It was the only one that everyone was willing to talk about, was the clear salience. But that's clear smelling. It's like when you smell a perfume, or you can smell a smell from someone or something that's nearby. So, like, you know, you might smell something rotten, or you might smell something that's sweet. But you're able to smell, like, when nothing's going on, like, you have a very acute sense of smell that will remind you. So this could be someone that's passed away, and every once in a while you'll smell their perfume, or like if they smelled like fresh baked cookies, or if they smelled like aftershave or whatever it is, like, you may smell them coming in, and they're trying to help you too. As odd as it sounds, like, they've actually joined your ancestral line to help guide you, because now they understand what it was that they portrayed in life. And that's sometimes strange, right? Is that the ones that hurt us the most, when they pass on, they actually become a huge supportive part of our team, and we're like, what the heck? Like, okay, but it's because they're helping guide you through the pain that they themselves have put you through. Like, that's happened to me actually twice. Well, I could say 3 times. That's happened to me 3 times. 3 of my family members have become a part of my ancestral guide. And it's, you know, the connection that we have now is so powerful. Versus in life, like, our lives together were not that good at all. But now they help me with so many things. And so, yeah. Let's see. Let's get some oracles out here. They want these 2. We have, yeah, Chiron, hurt and heal. Look, and we were talking about your horror story. Like, this is something that's a deep hurt, right? And this is ancestral curses that are healing. This is something that just goes beyond you. It goes to your generations before you. This is something that's been passed on down family lines for years and years and years. And you're the one that chose to heal it, and you're doing that. But this is so powerful because you're helping others to heal very similar family matters here. Mars. Move forward and defend self. So we have Aries energy here with Mars. On the original 7 planet spread, we have also Scorpio energy, but I do feel like you've learned how to defend yourself. And that's why I was saying, it's like for those of you that have reconciled, oh, maybe that's why you've reconciled with this person, is because they passed away and now you know they're part of your ancestral team. 3033 on the clock as I'm saying that. So that's powerful too. So you have learned how to set very solid boundaries so that you don't get involved in energy like this any longer. Pisces energy again, so this could be a Pisces. Okay, we have intimacy, intuition, and compassion. You could be a Pisces, sun, moon, rising, or Venus. You could have the 9th house in Pisces. I heard stellium in Pisces. I'm actually not sure what all that is, but it just came in really loud right now, so I'm going to say it. But yeah, let's see what else. We've had Pisces energy come out quite a bit. We have Pisces here, Pisces there, Pisces on the bottom. So Pisces everywhere. Yay, Pisces. I too am a Pisces sun, so I get it. I also have a lot of Pisces places. Alright, what do we have? Sacrifice, number 40, bull. So this is someone who is super stubborn. Like, and they didn't see all the things that you did, but I feel like you've learned how to really let go of the chaos that's within. And that was the sacrifice, was letting go of what once was in your energy, right? Like this chaos sometimes is what controls us, and to let that go is hard because we've identified with it so much, and it does feel like you're letting that go. And now there's this reciprocity here with honeybee. So whether that's this person or just in general in your life, you're getting equal give and take from something that you've let go of, something you sacrificed, and now you're getting that. And it was connected to the deep fear that you had within of not being accepted, not being seen. And now you are being seen and accepted by many, it feels like. So that could be what the reconciliation is, and just being loved. Like, you're the center of attention because you were always meant to be a leader. And that was something that was really hard for this person to accept, was that you were meant to be a leader. And unfortunately, they're like, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on where they're at in their life or on their journey, is they're going to have to watch you become that leader. Okay? Yeah, you're being activated. This has been an initiation process for you, going through this hardship. And not always is that fun to hear, right? You've learned self-love. That was the lesson that it taught you, was self-love and compassion for yourself. That's exactly, this card is all about self-love. It's not about love, like romantic love. And we had the 6 of Cups come out. So love has been your journey. You're meant to walk in unconditional love. It would not surprise me if you notice the violet light of healing love. You're aware of that. Like, if you'll know what I mean. I'm not going to go into explaining it, but you'll know what I mean. If that resonates with you, you know what I mean. Okay. So we have Swan Spirit, time for a deep dive. Yeah, and I feel like you're actually bringing in love, like romantic love. You are bringing that in if that's something you are desiring. Like, it is coming, but you had to heal this. You had to become the wounded warrior, right? Like, this is the wounded warrior. And you're healing others now through that, teaching them to let go of the identity that they've held on to so they can move forward and take care of themselves. And that's been all through you learning this deep, deep energy and this deep understanding of self. And we have let spirit be your guide. Yeah, it's been uncomfortable with number 32. I just heard like a weird sound, like a moan, like hello. It was like, hello. Like, it was so loud right now. It kind of tripped me out. It was not a guide. I'm used to hearing my guides, but this was different. Then we have life is speeding up, number 2. It like sounded like it was over a speaker, but like an old speaker with crackles and stuff. Okay, that's weird. I don't know. I'm supposed to tell you that. I don't know what it means, but okay. Okay, let's find out what the shadow aspect is at play in your reading here, pile number 2. Source, may you please understand the shadow aspect here. On the bottom, look, secrets. Yeah, someone isn't telling you the whole story. You have to be willing to both say and hear the truth. So you feel like there were a lot of secrets that were kept from you. A lot of things that you didn't know were going on, like a lot of whispers behind your back, and guilty. There's lying or cheating going on, maybe both. It may take a confrontation to come clean. So maybe you've confronted them and that's what's helped you reconcile with them. But I do feel like, again, with the Pisces energy coming through, there's a lot of guilt and shame that's at play here. And so I don't feel like that's you, but I do feel like that energy was put on you, and that was where the Chiron came into play along your journey. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at your Cosmic Soul card and see what it says. I'm going to read that out of the book. Gratitude, number 15, which is 6, and numerology, which is balance, harmony, resolution, solution. Yeah, unconditional love and gratitude go hand in hand, and if you look, it is the card, the picture on the cover and on the box. So let me find this in the book and see what we've got going on here. Number 15. Okay. It says, if we could see the miracle of a single flower clearly, our whole life would change. This card comes forth to remind you of the absolute magnificence of this beautiful world we live in. To truly appreciate it is to really open your heart and mind to the magic of nature and divine matrix, of which we are all a part of. And I feel like that's exactly what you've done, as you begin to understand the beauty of the hardships and the horrors you went through, and knowing that it's led you to where you are now. And if you're not quite there yet, know that you're on your way to that, okay? When you're in a space of gratitude, you're in the space of love and acceptance of what is. There's a deep appreciation of the moment, which allows walls of resistance to break away from within you. Breaking through walls of resistance allows you to address fears, which were ultimately formed by you to keep pain out. By building walls around your heart, however, you are actually keeping the pain in and stopping your soul from evolving. Gratitude holds such a high vibration that it can literally break through the strongest, most stubborn walls. Gratitude is one of the highest forms of love you can bestow upon another. When you are grateful, you radiate love. The more love you radiate, the more love reflects back to you. Being in this space of awe and gratitude literally opens portals of higher frequencies of love to help guide you. There's so much to be grateful for, dear one. There are numerous trees, plants, stars, flowers, beautiful sunsets, snowflakes, and reflecting water drops. Tapping into any one of these beautiful cosmic creations allows us to tap into the universal consciousness of pure love. Yes, exactly. Thank you so much, Source. Allowing gratitude to fill your entire being. Immerse yourself with this feeling of wonder and awe. This is the first step of inner transformation. This is associated to your heart chakra, and the affirmation is, I am open to the universal love that shines through the miracles of life all around me. And I love that. I love that, because that's what I was feeling. Like, your journey has been about love. Like, even the 6 of Cups showed up, and it was in the very beginning showing that it was about love. It's about you coming into a space of love, seeing all things from this space of love. And so we are going to do a part 2, which is going to be about healing from your horror story. But I feel like you are definitely on that path. If not, you've embraced that, which is very powerful and wonderful. So congratulations on that. And I'm so sorry that this is what you went through, but it does look like you've leaned into it, understanding that this has been a part of your biggest growth, and that's really beautiful, right? Like, that's a beautiful thing that you've embraced. So this is what I am seeing for you, pile 2. If you feel like this is your reading, leave a little swan emoji down below and say, I let love shine from an open and understanding heart, because I heal myself to heal the world. Leave me a thumbs up down below. And I'm going to go ahead and leave it there and get on out of here. I do want to take a quick second to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my guides for coming together to give us this reading. And until next time, pile number 2, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this beautiful shard of amethyst, or if you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, then this is going to be a reading on let me understand your horror story. I do want to say these are going to be triggering readings, okay? I've been saying that on every pile. I will say it a few times on this reading just to reiterate. that to make it known, okay? But first, I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey. I'm so honored to be sharing this time and space with you. For those of you that are new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we are all here sharing this human experience, and that this is a safe space for you to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. Please remember, these are general readings. Take what resonates, leave what does not. Make sure you do like, comment, and subscribe to the video or to the channel. If you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find all those links below in the description box in order to do so. You may email me for a personal reading and I'll get you out further information from there. And you can also follow me on over to my podcast on Spotify at Scatter Love Radio. And memberships are now live, so if you're interested in becoming a member, there's a join button down below. When you click on that, it'll show you the options I have available as well as what comes with each level. I do hope to see you there, and if not, thank you for your continued support here. So I'm going to do the dice today. I'm going to use them to get more of a description on you, and then we'll use the tarot to get into what a past horror was. Okay, so it's just going to be something that Source wants to focus on today. And I really do like that the piles have been different up until this point. So let's go ahead and hop to it. So Source, for pile number 3, what can you tell me about pile number 3 so that they know that this is their reading? What would you like to share about pile number 3 so that they know that this is their reading, Source? What messages do you have for us about pile number 3 so they know this is their reading? Okay, so we've got the 4th house, Gemini, and Saturn. Oh, right off the bat, it's interesting. What came through is actually something you may have struggled with, and that's not having a voice at all. Like your opinion, your emotions, how you were feeling, everything that you experienced as a child, you were told to be quiet, really. It's like, it doesn't matter. What you experience doesn't matter. It doesn't hold precedence over everyone else's feelings. That was something that was really strong as soon as I saw this combination of dice, okay? But you personally, you're someone who is very kind and generous and healing and loving. I feel like through the hardships of Saturn, you've learned to speak up for yourself and become very adaptable to situations where sometimes it's okay to talk about this, sometimes it's not okay to talk about that. But you've definitely learned when it's appropriate, when it's not appropriate to say certain things, right? Like, so it could have been your journey went through not having a voice at all to saying everything and anything to learning when and where. Like, there's a time and place for everything, and it feels like you've absolutely gone through those stages here. And you are someone who has learned discipline and hard work and patience through your struggle, right? And your struggle has to do with some form of communicating the needs and wants of your heart, the desires that you want from life, and knowing how to speak that into existence, and knowing that because you want it, it matters. Like, that's something I feel like you may have struggled with for a long time, or still do struggle with at times, is knowing that what your heart wants matters, knowing that what you desire in life means something, and that it's okay to want it, that there's nothing wrong with what sets your soul on fire and what gives you passion in life, that's okay. But overall, you're a very fluid person. You are capable of blending in, you're capable of standing out. You're someone that can either be a fly on the wall, or you can be in the middle of everything happening, and it just really depends on the energy that's going on around you. Like, you're very capable of reading a room and acting accordingly, if you will, but it's more or less communicating accordingly and letting your energy do communicating for you. Like, you're very good at projecting your energy in a very unique way. Like, you come into a room and it depends on the room. Like, you might stop everybody in the room from talking and they might all look at you, but equally so, you might walk into a room and give off the energy that you don't want to be seen, and you can blend in. So it's like you're somewhat like a chameleon. Like, that's the energy that's coming through. You're a chameleon when it comes to your energy, like how you project yourself into this world. And that has definitely helped. So you could actually be someone that's in a position where you have a leadership position where you have to speak to people. And so it's definitely served you well if when you're leaving work, like you don't want to be noticed when you're not at work, and so blending in has kind of been your thing, or it's become a survival tactic for you that you have found has actually served you well along the journey. And so you are absolutely on this place of really leaning into that 10th house energy, right, through Saturn, which is learning our karmic lessons through those hardships, but also while finding our place in this world and what our purpose is. And so you're in the process of that, or you have absolutely embraced the wholeness of that so that you can let go of what's not yours. So let's go ahead and get some tarot out on it and see what else comes through here for you. Really like that chameleon energy. That's unique. That's a really interesting energy. I've not connected with someone like that before, and so that's unique. And maybe I have, it's just not what's come up before, and so you never know, right? Alright, so we're going to get some tarot on it. Again, if you skipped over the intro on the pile or at the beginning, these are triggering readings. We are finding out what your horror story is. And remember that, you know, just because they're triggering, there can be healing. But if you're not ready to hear that, that's okay. It will be here for you when you're ready, okay? And I feel like that's... Oh, we are going to do a part 2 for this, which is healing from your horror story. That's going to be coming out quite soon. Like, I'm not going to be waiting for forever to post that. Like, that's something that I'm going to be doing next. And so keep an eye out for that. That should be the next reading that you see. And let's see, if you made it through all 3 piles and you watched the whole reading with me, leave a purple heart down below. It's my purple heart gang. Say I made it. I will know what that means, and I truly do appreciate those of you that have watched the whole reading with me. I appreciate your energy so much. So let's find out, Source, for pile number 3. Can you help me understand their horror story? What would you like to share here, Source? An emotionally absent father and a mother that had a problem with authority figures. So could have had a problem with your father, and that's why your father was emotionally absent. Wow, that's really, really strong. Yeah, that's coming in so strong here. It's like this energy of feeling like she wanted to have some sense of control but didn't know how to, and was still expected to fulfill her role in your family dynamic. And whatever role that is, right, it doesn't have to be the traditional roles, but she could have felt like it was a traditional role. Or the feminine energy in your family dynamic felt like they had to fulfill the traditional role and felt like they had no power. And so it feels like everyone suffered because of that. So, Source, what can you tell me about pile number 3's horror story? Thank you. What can you tell me about pile number 3's horror story, Source? What can you tell me about pile number 3's horror story, Source? Okay, thank you. In every pile, 2 cards have come out first together. That's amazing. Alright. What can you tell me about pile number 3's horror story? What can you tell me about pile number 3's horror story? I'm gonna stop. What can you tell me about pile number 3's horror story, Source? Okay, they want it in the upright. I'll take it. Yeah. What can you tell me about pile number 3's horror story, Source? I feel like you're the one that solved a lot of issues that you shouldn't have been solving. That's what I was saying, like you didn't have a voice. Like you didn't have a voice. You didn't have the ability to communicate how you felt because it feels like there was someone in your life that their emotions were far more important than everyone else's, and you were a child or some young adult. Like you could have been a young adult needing to speak your truth, needing to share what you needed to share here, and never had an opportunity to do so because whatever this person was going through was far more important than whatever it was that you had experienced. Or there's no way that you could understand the pain. There's no way that you could understand the hardships. There's no way that you could understand whatever XYZ was. But it's like you did, and you just needed someone to talk to. You just needed someone to support you, and it was struggling in the end because it was like still not having a voice. And that's what I was saying, like, you learn through patience that your time would come, and your time came when it was like leaving this dynamic. So let's see what's on the bottom of the deck here. Yeah, we have the Seven of Cups in the reverse and the Ace of Wands with the Eight of Coins in the reverse. Yeah, this is someone who had no boundaries whatsoever. No emotional boundaries, no physical boundaries, no nothing. Like, did not know how to set boundaries, but expected everyone to know what they were feeling, thinking, how they were experiencing life. And, you know, not something they wanted to work on. But again, I feel like you were here to save the day. You didn't have a voice, but you had to save their day. All the time, you had to show up and save their day. And this is peaking, yeah. Okay, so we do have mother wound here. So it could have been a Cancer, could have been an Aries, a Capricorn, a Pisces. But we do show the mother wound here with the moon peaking. It got stuck to my finger and wanted to come out. Like, it's literally stuck to my finger here. So interesting, right? So we do see the mother wound. Somebody that was very secretive about their life, their journey, until it came to how they were feeling. And then it was like, let me make everybody's day an awful day because I'm having an awful day. And it's not something that you should have ever been dealing with. And I feel like this is something that from the time that you could, and it's interesting that the Knight of Swords came out in the upright, because the Knight of Swords really does talk about being a hero, right? Being your own hero. But here, it's like you're the one that was the hero in the situation. And that's why I kept feeling like you're the one that came in to save the day. And for no, like, something completely outside of your scope and your experience, like, over here, well, you don't understand. And it's like, yeah, I really don't understand, but you want me to solve something that I have no idea how to solve. So why are you putting this on me? But still coming in with this emotional, like, this is someone who's very emotional manipulative. This is someone who would burden you with their emotions. This is someone who would burden a lot of people with their emotions and expect to get healed by everyone else just simply by dumping it out on everyone else. And that's not how life works, right? Like we can only deal with our own internal self by ourselves. So, like, emotions is a very personal thing. But that's what I was saying, like, this could have been a mother that was very, so, like, someone that complained a lot, and then it created a dynamic where your father was completely gone, like, all the time, like, never showed up. There could have been a divorce here. There could have been a separation. But it's like where your father just, like, as soon as he was able to, was just gone from the house. And it could have been the opposite way, where it was like your father was the one that was always complaining, always in this energy, like, you have to save me, you have to deal with my emotions, which is the wounded feminine, right? And forcing your mother to leave. And I feel like that's the thing. But I do feel like you were always with whoever it was that was very disconnected emotionally here. And always trying to save them, always trying to help them see something from a different place, see something from a different space. Yeah, we have the Sun. And it's interesting that the Sun would be the first one, because it's like, as soon as I turned it over and saw, I was like, I kept feeling like child. Like, you have the two children here, but, like, you could be the divine masculine. You don't have to be. You could be a divine feminine here. But Sun, like, you know how, like, okay, so in Spanish, they're showing me, like, in Spanish, when you say multiple kids, whether you have a son, a daughter, you have one son and two daughters, unless you have two sons, or if you have just two daughters, like, two daughters would be hijas, two sons would be hijos. But if you have a son and a daughter, it's still hijos, like sons, right? It's sons. And, like, that's interesting, because that's something that's even Old English, like, they talk about your sons. It's like, and I know a lot of people have an issue, because it's like, oh, well, it shouldn't just be the masculine. But, like, a lot of languages are like that, where it's like grouping it all together for simplicity. And, you know, later on, we've developed this more complex way of explaining things, which is true, right? But it's interesting, because that's when I turned it over, I was thinking about that, like, my sons, like my kids, like my children. But it's interesting because it's synchronistic with the Sun card having children on the card. But I feel like this is showing your energy and the dynamic, and how there was a lot of hardships here. Yeah, and a lot of anxiety here with the Eight of Swords and the upright. A lot of anxiety that was poured onto you. This is the horror. This is what the horror is that you're the one that had to become an adult in a situation that you had no business being an adult in. And look, it's made you a very powerful energy. Like I said, you have that way of being able to blend in and camouflage and be like a chameleon, like that change. Like you're able to read a room and change according to the room, which is a very unique gift. Like that's a very unique gift. And it has given you a lot of stability in your life, and you've had to learn how to communicate clearly. But we see here that the karma energy comes from this anxiety that was completely overwhelming as a child. Like you've always been very secure and capable of taking care of so much and holding such a huge burden on your shoulders, and always trying to be the light in someone's life, like always trying to be the hero, always trying to be the voice of reason, the being of reason. And it's like, even though at every turn there was always this misguided, oh, well, everybody hurts me, or everybody's against me, or no one understands where I'm coming from, or you don't get where I'm coming from, even though like you were always very wise beyond your years. And it's like, this made you feel like nothing you said was ever worthwhile. And I feel like that's what I was saying. Like, you only had a voice when you were carrying this person. Again, I keep getting the mother wound, okay? But it doesn't have to be your mom. It could just be someone you saw in that light, okay? And that could be even a man. It doesn't matter. But it's like, you only had a voice, right? You only had a voice when you were tending to this energy. And here we see the symbolism coming up. Like Source is making the symbolism very clear, even though the cards are pretty positive, right? You have the Sun, you have the Knight of Swords, you have the Emperor, all here on the upright. But Source is using this as symbolism, where here, look, you're comforting someone who also is coming from a childlike place, like someone who's the wounded child coming through. That's where this anxiety stems from, is the wounded child. That's where this fear and this emotional blockage stems from. They could have been 7 or 8 years old when this happened, and that's as developed as they ever got when it came to emotions. And you recognize that there were temper tantrums, and that there were, you know, situations that could have been dealt with if they had just taken the time to deal with them, but they never did, because they were always coming to you to fix the problem. And you, being the incredible person that you are, stood up and rushed in. Like, look, the knight is rushing in. He's about to take off running into this situation. And that's the thing. It's like you were willing to do that. Like you're willing to go into battle for this person. You care about this person. You've always cared about this person. Even after I feel like you've outgrown this, or you are in the process of outgrowing, you still care about this person. You still love them. You can't help but love them. Like you just have such a beautiful soul. Like you just have such this beautiful light about you where you love so deeply. But it's like here you have someone where you're rushing in to save them from their anxiety and remind them that they're a powerful person too. And here the whole time you see that they needed to be the adult, but we don't have an adult in this situation. So you have to use your internal wisdom here to guide someone beyond this. And so it might not seem like a horror, but this is a very, very scarring situation, because no matter how amazing you are, you deserve to be taken care of. You deserve to be the one that had a voice in the situation when you were upset. You deserve to have a voice when you were struggling. You deserve to have a voice when things were hard for you, but you had to put your inner child away and protect your inner child from this situation, because you had to become an adult. See how he's protecting the shield, has the eagle on it, and this denotes having children. This denotes a childlike energy, and this is very symbolic. Even the Empress has the shield with the eagle on it, denoting a child, or denoting taking care of a child. And each one is protecting it in their own way. But look at how it's at the base of your foot. Like it's like this is a part of your journey. I have to push away my own inner child. I have to push it behind my chair. I have to stay in front of it and block myself from whatever can potentially harm my child. And I have to grow up way too soon. Way too soon. So you carried a lot of people, if not A lot of people, you definitely carried one person who was an adult on your shoulders for a huge portion of your life. Like, and you could have been very young when this happened. Like, you could have been 4 or 5 when this happened to you. You could have been the same age that they were when they had their emotional scarring, and now are projecting that onto you. But it does feel like you were very young. Like, I feel like this is something that happened even when you were a child. Like, you saw the dynamics. You saw how someone left and wasn't able to give emotionally, and like, whether that's from past lives or being a star child, a star seed, or whether that is being, you know, just a light child, whatever it is, you were always like, even as a young infant, you were always like, that doesn't seem right. Like, shouldn't they be there for them? Like, you were always processing things from a way, way more mature energy than you ever should have. It's 21:12 on the clock as I'm saying that. And it's just this interesting energy where it's like, even as a child, you were the one that became the protector. You were the one that became the light. But you see, look at how you're still facing this. Like, you're still facing this. The 8 of Swords was the family here. This could have been a Gemini that was doing this in your life. We have the Gemini in the dice, and it's like just not giving you a voice, making you feel ever smaller, right? Like, here they are. They're all these swords that are closing in on you, this beautiful little flower, and you have no place to go. You have no place to grow. Like, if you grow, you're going to get chopped up by all these knives, and you knew that. There's a lot of anger, a lot of fear, a lot of hurt, a lot of negativity here. But I keep hearing it's about me, 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 me. Like, this is someone who's very conceited, who wants the center of attention, who wants everybody to be focused on them. And it gave you a lot of unique tools, but tools that you should not have developed until you were older. Like, you should not have had to have dealt with this from a young age. Like, you should not have been a child taking care of an adult child, right? And here we have the sun and the moon come out, because the moon peeked out on the bottom of your deck, and so that could be father. This could be father energy too. But I do feel like that's what I was saying. Like, it could have been a mother. Okay, so there's 2 ways they want me to talk about this. Either way, whichever parent it is, you see that one parent is hidden. You see that one parent is absent. The moon on the bottom of the deck, right? Let me pull it out. The moon on the bottom of the deck, right? Or I guess on the top, because that would be the top of the deck. It was peeking out, though. It stuck to my finger. Someone is hidden, and someone's in plain daylight, right? This denotes parents, though. This also can be grandparents, but this is like a connection, a loving connection. Let's see, there's two aspects here. And it's like you have one that's hidden, and even the moon was hidden, but it still wanted to be seen on your reading, right? So either way, you had to fulfill the role that was missing. And since there's so much masculine energy in the reading, it feels like even if you were taking care of a father, they were in their toxic masculine, and the wounded feminine within. So it was like you were still having to be the strong protector in their life. Like, you had to help them get through. You know, so this is like, if your mother left, you were cooking for them, you were cleaning for them, you were helping, encouraging them to go and look for a job, or you were helping, encouraging them to go to work, or like you became the caretaker of the house. And if this was a mother, then you became the one that was like, as soon as you could find a work, you were finding work. And part of it was because you may have felt the heavy burden of the situation, but I do feel like a lot of it stemmed from trying to get away from this, unknowingly so, right? Like, there's this energy of like, oh my gosh, like this is just too heavy to carry. So I'm trying to straighten this up. Okay, there we go. I think that's better. And it actually made you very sure of yourself. Oh, my apologies. I'm actually going to get some messages out of my channel message bag, and this is kind of noisy, so if you have sensitive ears, I would mute it. And then when I'm done grabbing them, I'll put my hands back in the frame like this to let you know, so you can unmute it. Okay, so go ahead and mute it now if you have sensitive ears. Source, can we please get some channel messages for pile number 3 here? What else would you like to say? Can we please have some channel messages for pile 3? What would you like to say about this? Whoa, that, okay. That's it. Okay, I'm back. They all came out all at once. There was just so many. Oh my goodness, there's so many here. Wow. They were all stuck together like crazy. That's the thing, like I feel like you stuck it out with them, like you love them, you care about this person, like even now you still have a deep care for this person, like you just want to see them do good. But I also see that you're seeing there are some things that you just can't heal from. Yeah, not on the spiritual journey. Like you recognize that. You see that they're not. Like you see that they're just kind of stuck and spinning wherever they're at. You need spiritual fulfillment. So see, you are on the spiritual journey and you need spiritual fulfillment. Like you need to take care of yourself spiritually the best that you can. Whatever that means to you, right? Yoga instructor. Okay, so they're saying that you could do that by being in, if you're interested, right? Like that's not, oh, this is your destiny. Like no, like they're just saying like you could become a yoga instructor. Surrender, let it unfold the way it's meant to. I feel like this was something that was really hard for you, is to step back from taking care of this person. Okay, like it's been really hard for you because you really do love them. You do care about them, and you see that they're capable of great things, but they don't see it. They just live in this world of complain and worry and this, that, and the other, right? Clear cognizance, clear knowing. Yeah. Do you know a clear has come out in every one of the piles? So if you've watched every one of the piles, you are very psychic. If not, that's okay. Clear knowing is an amazing one to have. So we have trust. There is a greater plan. Source has something better planned for you than staying in this old energy, right? But again, this has taught you some very valuable lessons that should not have been learned so young, but because they were learned young, like I said, you become this chameleon. Like you have this incredible gift. Triggers are opportunities to heal past wounds. Yeah. Yep. And I feel like you're aware of this. Like, it's not like this is news to you. You're not like, you know, I know I talked about how this is a triggering reading. I feel like it's interesting because I do feel like some of you have been triggered by this, but I feel like most of you are just like, yeah, that's just how it's been. Brokenhearted. Yeah. Why wasn't I loved? Like, that's the thing. Why wasn't I loved? Like, that was the horror story. Why wasn't I seen as a child? Why was I put in a position where I had to be a parent? Why did I have to grow up so soon? I didn't even get a chance to learn how to play. Someone's talking behind your back. And maybe this person is like, no matter what you do for them, like they just don't appreciate it because they're the only reason, I'm just going to tell you guys, the only reason that they're talking behind your back is because they're looking for sympathy from everyone. They want everyone to feel bad for them. Okay? They want everyone to solve their problems. They want everyone to listen to their fears and their hurts and their pains. That's why I was saying this person knows no emotional boundaries. Like, they just don't have any. Okay, interesting. So we have, I want to F you. I don't think this is in the context that you're thinking. Okay, this is like, that's the thing. These two go hand in hand. Like, I want to mess things up for you because I see you growing and I see you having this stability and you're giving it to others and you're helping others heal and you're helping others grow and you're helping others understand the journey. And now I don't have access to that, and that's all I want is access to that energy, but you're not giving it to me. Rise like the phoenix. Yeah, and this is what's happening. I do feel like you're letting them go. I feel like you're leaving them behind. You know, again, this is going to be a 2-part reading, so we'll look further into the healing on part 2. But let's see here. Your fear is guiding you right now. Yeah, so I feel like this is why their fear is guiding them. I feel like you are letting go of your fears and being true to yourself. Stop kidding yourself, yeah. My ear is ringing right now. So it's like they want you, and that's the left ear. And I feel like that's the one that's when people are talking to you is your left ear, talking about you behind your back. Like this, they don't want you to see how great you are. They want to keep you all to themselves. Like they're very selfish when it comes to your energy. Healing generational money beliefs. And that's the other thing, that if they keep you small-minded, then you'll never outdo them. And they'll always have a reason to complain. They'll always have a reason to feel like they're the ones that have it worse than everyone else. Like, that's exactly what it feels like here. Like, the whole reason that they've been like that. And so it does feel like whoever your other parent was, or whoever the other party was that bunked out, because there's definitely an energy here that just left. And that is a horror story in itself, right? Like, because then you have that dynamic is shifted. And so in order to help fix the dynamic, you took up that part of the journey. And so they're used to that now. They're used to you having that space, holding that space in their life, and they don't want to let that go. We have water, so it could be a Pisces, Scorpio, or Cancer energy here. We have spirituality, emotion, intuition, and compassion. I feel like Source is showing 3113 on the clock. I feel like Source is showing here that you're very intuitive, you're very psychic, you're aware of this, you've been aware of this. It's like, but there's this deep love. When I connect with you, I feel this deep love that you have for this person. It's like, but like, especially if this is my mom or this is my dad, like I'm supposed to love them. And it's like that obligation is almost more than the need to let go, and you're finding the balance there. Like, that's not something that you're ever going to hold on to for forever. Like, you are finding the balance there. Look, house 10, structure, discipline, life mission, accomplishment, and career. If it weren't for them treating you the way that they did, making you do what you were doing, like, you would have never gotten the energy, the motivation to do what you're doing now. And no, it's not because of them. I guess you could say it's in spite of, but it's just, it's what you learned dealing with their energy. Like, if you hadn't dealt with their energy, you would have been on a different journey altogether. And who knows what that would have been, right? But we don't. We only know this journey. We have yin. So we have Taurus, Cancer, Virgo, Scorpio, Capricorn, and Pisces. Intuition, trust, patience, spirituality, and receptivity. So again, pointing towards, you're very intuitive, you're very psychic, you have these beautiful gifts. Clairsentience is such that's an intense one, I'll tell you. I have all the clairs, and they're very intense, but claircognizance, my apologies. Clairsentience is when you feel. So because I said it, you may have the ability to feel. Clear feeling, right? That's feeling others. That's empaths. A lot of empaths have clairsentience. So it wouldn't surprise me if you have that one too. But claircognizance, that clear knowing, it's kind of scary. Like, the disembodied voices, okay, cool. Like, they are freaky, but once you realize, okay, that's just something I deal with. Like, the smelling, the taste, which we had on both the other readings, which is hilarious. Right? Like, these are all things that you just kind of like, okay, that's there. But it's the clear knowing when you know something you're not supposed to know. And when you call people out on that, or when you're able to tell people that and they're like freaked out about it, it kind of freaks you out too, right? 3333 on the clock. But we did have house 8 come out underneath the yin. Transformation, karma, facing fears, and legacy. So I feel like you're really owning yourself now, whatever that is. Like, you're learning to own yourself here. And so, but I feel like your clairs, whichever ones they are, or it is, right? I feel like they've been honed, and really, that's part of that's why you're able to be a chameleon, because you just know when you enter a room, you know what's going to happen. And so you mold yourself to fit into that situation so that you're not like, causing anything or being in the same energy. Yeah, happiness. You're on the path to finding happiness here. Like, Source just wants to tell you, like, you're doing good things. 42-6, right, is balance, surrender, solution, resolution, harmony. You're learning. Sacred Ibis. I feel like you're definitely learning just how powerful you are, how much of a leader you truly are, how much you're capable of connecting with others, and clearly talk about, things that will help them heal and help you come together as a community. Like, you're learning how to connect with your soul tribe, whoever they are. You know, it's a special bunch. You all are a special bunch. I mean, everybody's special, but I just want you to know, like, this is a special bunch. Like, this is, yeah, harmony came out. I love that. You're finding harmony, right? You found harmony in this hardships. Like, you're really connecting with yourself in such a beautiful way. Like, even though we're talking about the horrors of your life, like, you could have come from one specific pile here. And again, if you watched all three, then it's kind of like your journey. But one of the piles on here was very specific about, I'm not holding this against anybody anymore. Like, I'm done holding it against others. I'm done holding this at all, really. Like, I'm just kind of letting it go, right? Yeah, I'm getting out of Dodge. I'm gone. I checked out a long time ago, but it's not even just checking out. Like, you're just really coming into this place where it's like, I'm just done holding on to this burden. Because that's really what it is. I was put into a situation where I had to grow up so fast, and I didn't even know. Like, I didn't even know what it was to be a kid, and so now I have to learn what it is to enjoy life again. So we have number 30 here, and your number 3 with Grasshopper Spirit, take a leap of faith. I feel like this is the energy that you're in right now. Source is just acknowledging you. You're doing everything you're meant to do. You're exactly where you're meant to be. Time to collaborate. Yes, you are connecting with your soul family. I can feel it. Oh, I feel it. It's so strong. I love that. Thank you, Source. Let's grab a shadow aspect for this reading for pile number 3. Thank you. And I know this is a shadow reading, but I just want to really like pinpoint it here. Lost. You feel like you've been abandoned, but there's a deeper connection coming. This makes so much sense. Lost because you were fulfilling a role that was never yours to fulfill. You should have never been a parent when you were a child. Like, that just doesn't make sense, but unfortunately it happens, and it's so sad and disheartening, and that's an awful situation to be put in, right? Leaving. Yeah, you've taken it as far as it can go this time around. Walking away is the best thing you can do, and wasn't that what I was saying? I'm getting out. I'm checking out of Dodge. Like, I'm done. I'm done trying to fix this. I'm done trying to solve whatever this is, because I can't. You've done enough. You've done more than enough. So don't ever feel like, oh my gosh, just one more time or whatever, because sometimes that's what it can turn into. Just one more time, and just one more time turns into I never leave, right? So we're going to go ahead and read this out of the book, find out what it is. Emotions, number 12. That is so synchronistic. Wasn't that what I was saying at the beginning? Like, you have a hard time expressing your emotions to others, like how you feel. It's easy for you to help others. It's easy for you to blend in with others, but how you feel is something that gets lost in translation. It's time to acknowledge and release suppressed emotional energy in a positive and constructive way. Emotions and feelings assist us in navigating our way through life. They are fundamental to determining the health of our physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. Many people suppress their emotions for fear of being consumed by them. Neglected, stored emotions create volcanic pressure within, which can be detrimental to one's energy and body. If this card has appeared, Spirit is encouraging you to allow your emotions to flow in a safe space for you. Express your emotions. If you are sad, then cry. If you are angry, then be angry. Acknowledge and truly feel this process. Observe the emotions that are being released and ask yourself, from where do these reactions and emotions stem? Perhaps past memories and experiences are overlaying the current experience and increasing its emotional impact on you. It's so easy to overlook the tight grip these denied emotions have had on you until they are released. Channeling these emotions in a positive, constructive way, rather than ignoring them, allows you to free yourself of the emotional baggage within you. This act of releasing enables you to be present to enjoy the magic and awe of your everyday miracles. It's easy and tempting to resist these unpleasant emotions, but the only way you'll be free of this suppressed energy is to walk through the emotions, writing down your feelings, releasing your emotions to nature, talking with someone you trust, or just some of the many ways you can dispel this pent-up energy. Be gentle and compassionate with yourself during this process. This is connected with the sacral chakra and your prayers. Great Spirit, please guide me through this process of cleansing and releasing with love. So that's the thing. You're finding harmony and happiness through understanding your emotions. And I feel like your emotions are actually what's leading you straight to your path of purpose. And it's been very strong for you. It's been a very different journey, right? But it's hard because you had to learn how to suppress all that when you were younger so you could take care of someone else's emotions, and that's not easy. That's not easy to do at all. It's a very deeply harsh situation to be in, because all along you're being told that your emotions don't matter, and here the journey is telling you your emotions have always mattered. And so there's that finding that connection where the link was broke. Okay, so this is what I see for you, pile number 3. If you feel like this was your reading, leave a little music the little music note down below and say, I allow myself to experience and express my emotions so that I can find peace and harmony within my heart and soul. Leave me a thumbs up down below. I'm going to go ahead and leave it there and get on out of here. I do want to take a quick second to thank your guide, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my guides for coming together to give us this message. And until next time, pile number 3, stay human. Bye.